Hey everyone, Justin here. So I'm about to watch Godfather Coda, the death of Michael Corleone. You know, the recut of part 3 here on Apple TV. How fantastic is this? I can't believe I'm about to sit down and watch essentially a new Godfather film, but it's just so cool to sit down and watch a recut. When Coppola does these recuts, I always enjoy them. They always add to them, enrich them. You can enjoy all versions of these films, and this is the first time I'm going to watch this, going to record some of my reactions, talk about this, if I like it or not. Okay, here we go. Oh. Here we go. That's haunting. Oh, wow, how cool is that? Wow, I'm already loving the opening title change. Fantastic. Now it seems like definitely the first 30 minutes or more of this film is now devoted to that whole family celebration, and deals and tributes are being made post the meeting in the church. And oh my gosh, can you hear that beeping truck? Yeah, but it's almost it reminds me of the first film, and it kind of echoes that, so I like that. Now, is it just me, or does it seem that Connie, anyway, Talia Shire, the sister of Michael Corleone, is in fact, in some ways, pulling a lot of strings here? She's the one pulling a lot of strings. I mean, she kind of basically allows Vincent in and allows his hot-headedness to get out of control and pull Michael back in. And something else I just wanted to quickly note too is that I'd forgotten that this movie is set in 1979, the late 70s. And it's still, to me, watching it now, feels like a distinctively 90s film. I don't know, it's just something about some of the sets and set dressings kind of just had that 90s sheer to it. But I'm fine with it. There are lots of other little lovely 70s motifs in there. So, hair continuity in some earlier scenes. Michael Corleone is much grayer on top, and in later scenes it's kind of a mix of dark and grey. Did anyone else notice that? Even when Michael says, even when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. There's just that brief shot on Talia Shire, and she kind of has a look on her face like, oh, maybe if I hadn't got Vincent involved, all this unraveling wouldn't have happened. What I said to you, she's got a lot to be accounted for, a lot to be questioned about in this storyline. When Joey Zaza gets killed, that moment we see that little girl react to it, just absolutely shocking. That and I can't believe Vincent gets dressed up as a cop and on a horse to lay the final shots. Like, that's pretty wild plan. I'm even surprised that they thought that Joey Zaza had the clout to order a big helicopter hit on all the families. Come on, they must suspect that it's coming from somewhere else. That's a pretty big thing. I mean, they clearly wanted Michael out of the way. You know, that was just weird timing, him leaving that meeting. I can't believe they think. He looks like Davros here, by the way, if you know who Davros is. I think that Andy Garcia is really underrated in this movie. I think he does a really good job. Don't know what to get your kids for Christmas this year? Yeah, why don't you let the Mafia film inspire you to get the Barbie doll for your kid, Barbie? Not sponsored at all. Not sponsors at all of the Godfather films. Barbie Mattel products. Thank you, Barbie. This is not an ad. Politics and crime. They're the same thing. Oh God, here she is again, getting up to no good. So I think that, one of the good things about this recut is that the characters are much more linear. They seem to have a much more smoother arc and a growth from the beginning of the film through to the end. It's a much more cohesive film. I think it's worth a rewatch again. I haven't rewatched part 1 or the original part 2 for a long time. But this one seems to flow and connect as a much better third part, not that it's like part three, it's as it is titled, a coda to those two films. So I think it also, this film really pulls back on the elements that it was, derided for when it was first released. Some of the more awkward, clunky acting, some of the characters which kind of cast a bit of a pall, a bit of a shadow over it. They've kind of pulled back on a lot of those elements and just sort of focused tightly on character, particularly Michael Corleone, of course, which is absolute focus of this film, clearly. And I really like that. It makes it a much tighter, sharper film. Although perhaps the most corniest line of dialogue I've heard in this film, and you should look for it, is this one, will you be my friend? Well, I gotta say, the guy who stabbed the other guy in the neck with the glasses, like, that was pretty lucky to pull it right off in time while getting shot and managed to stick him hard with the glasses, but I let that one slide. Now, it's December 2020. Al Pacino currently is 80 years old. I think Pacino, he's such a great actor. This film was 20, 30 years ago. God, I can't believe that. But I still think he's such a great actor. He plays older well. I really like Pacino playing older, even though he's, I guess he's 50 at the time, but he seems much older still in the character of Michael in this film. That old assassin guy, I always think it's weird how, like, Vincent steps at a shot and he steps straight in, like, ooh, there's the assassin, twirling his moustache, or the way that he just sneaks in because the ticket collectors are just bumbling around, like, ooh, sneaky assassin. But I love that moment. When one of the twins comes in and thinks, oh, my brother twin has got the old assassin, but he thwarts, it's just an illusion, and in fact, the old assassin is holding up the dead body of the twin, and then whiz bang, that old assassin guy, ho ho ho. Oh, still gets me, that last scene on the stairs. Still gets me. Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. Oh, jeez, I tell you, folks. Well, now I've just watched this ending, and I gotta say, guys, I'm kind of stunned at that re-edit there. I always am bawling at the end when you see him. Nicolas Cage. I don't remember Nicolas Cage being in this movie. When is Nicolas Cage in this movie? I'm trying to scratch my head and think, when did you see Nicolas Cage? Anyway, at the ending, my thoughts are like, I actually like the original. I like when you see the montage of him dancing with the daughter, with Kay, and with his first wife. That just wrecks me, And then that final scene where you see him slump out of the chair and die and that's the death of Michael Corleone in the original. This one, we don't see that death. He's still alive. What is going on here? Is this setting us up for a part 4? What is going on here? We're going to see more? Long life? What is that last quote about? It means long life. Maybe are they hinting that there's going to be more Godfather in this version? What is going on? There is no death of Michael Corleone in this. It's like, I don't know. It's like, what is going on in this movie? He doesn't actually die. He dies in the original. Of course, I guess eventually he dies. Whoa, so quite a significant change to the ending there. It's giving us almost like a Blade Runner type of what-if situation. I don't know. Al Martino. I knew Al Martino was in it. And, because I know he was in the first film. And he was in this film too. But wow, like I said a bit earlier, this film really pulls back on some of the more hammier elements of the original and really I think it really tightens the film and gives a greater focus on character. I think that Andy Garcia is so underappreciated in this movie. His arc is fantastic. That sequence too, where Michael Corleone hands over power to Vincent. Oh man, that's amazing. I'm sure I remember in the original they even refer to him as Godfather, and Michael Corleone looks back at just that moment when he's being referred to. I didn't hear that in this version. So there are all these little subtle differences in this new Coda. So I don't know what to think of it. It's almost like it's setting it up for possibly more Godfather, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe it's just a fresh, tighter version of the parts we all know and love. I gotta say, I mean, I loved it. Now that I've just watched it, fantastic, much tighter. It feels like a much more stronger companion piece to the first two films. However, there are some elements from the original that I miss in this one. Now, where is Nicolas Cage in this movie? I've got to go back and find Nicolas Cage. I know he's in it, but I didn't recall us seeing. Well, I just watched at any point where I noticed a young Nicolas Cage. Anyway, I don't know. Well, that's it, guys. That's my thoughts and immediate reactions. I'm literally watching the credits right now here on thanks to Apple TV. Oh, look, it says soundtrack available on cassettes and compact discs. I bought it on cassette. I've still got it on cassette somewhere, the soundtrack. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this review and response, guys. Check it out if you're a Godfather fan. I mean, these films are the template for anything, you know, mafia-themed, mafia genre. I mean, these are the films that set the bar, set the template. So you can keep your Sopranos, you can keep all that stuff. It's Mario Puzo, it's Francis Ford Coppola, it's Al Pacino, it's Marlon Brando, all the way with the Godfather series. So I really enjoyed The Godfather, Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone. But where was the death of Michael Corleone? Well, it's been a couple of hours now and I've had time to digest the film. And I guess the thing I've been thinking about the most is the title, The Death of Michael Corleone, and how in fact in this version you don't see him die. And that's because the true death occurs right there on those stairs. His character, the last remnants of all that made him good, have now truly died. And that is the death of Michael Corleone. So that change, yeah, you know, I can see the brilliance in that. The mentoring of Vincent, the subtle mentoring, all of these character arcs and moments are really fleshed out in this Coda version. And look, if you're a Godfather buff, definitely worth checking out. And I enjoy varied versions of films, and this one is certainly interesting to look at, so I definitely recommend it. Thanks for watching this video, guys. This is Justin Hoffman. Catch you next time.